watching the scoreboards here on NASCAR.com, because I have a feeling these cars, we're starting to see that land rush. Everyone coming out of the garage right now, probably all taped up. One thing I was thinking about with William Byron, we talked about the limited time on the racetrack. Remember, 4 sets of tires for practice. We know this track chews up the tires. If you're Chad Knaus, wouldn't you want to save all your tires for that final race practice for your driver tomorrow? Just a thought.
Part of the strategy. And of course, when you talk about this track, the description that most drivers give you, cheese grater. Because that's the way it chews up these Goodyear tires. And they really, what they do is fall off, meaning the times drop dramatically. Sometimes as much as 3 to 4 seconds from one speed to later on.
By the way, if you sit in the lower sections of the grandstands here, when you get home, it might actually look like you were at a dirt track with all the tire rubber that's getting blown around and kicked around here and on your face as well. All right, William Byron making his way out onto the racetrack. Eric Almirola, who is second quick in this session. Eric Almirola, fastest lap earlier, 179.988. Last lap, 179.272. So they're able to come pretty close to replicating what they're doing here as the track has gotten hotter with the sun beating down on it here.
William Byron just jumped up a few spots here, about 8 positions. He was 30th. He is now up to 22nd fastest after this run in the Liberty University machine. He still is a student at Liberty. He takes most of his classes online because he's kind of busy during the week.
Yeah, which is something that actually his sponsor and university does offer to a lot of people, is that online campus. But as he comes across the start-finish line again, the most recent lap now for William Byron, as soon as we get an update on timing and scoring, up again to 21st, 177.158. One of the rarities here at Atlanta that the second lap for a driver was quicker. And, ooh, Eric Jones, you see him slide the nose of that race car a little bit?
Eric Jones also found some speed, Brad. He is up to 6th quickest now with his last lap. As you accurately depicted, they are running more qualifying type laps now after getting these machines a little bit closer to what they'll look like when they do roll out for qualifying later on this afternoon. A reminder coming up here on NASCAR.com, we will have Xfinity practice followed by truck practice. We'll take a 10-minute timeout between those, and then we'll come back with a little bit more coverage as we're watching Ryan Newman come down the front stretch here on the tri-oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And there's another good look at Ryan Blaney coming back out onto the racetrack. A lot of teams trying to come in and get their runs in here before the conclusion of this qualifying session, which we're inside the 10-minute window of wrapping it up.
By the way, a lot of Ryans this year. Ryan Newman, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Preece. We can't just say Ryan anymore. Like we could just say Kyle at one point. Now there's 2 good Kyles.
By the way, there's only one Cup driver in the Xfinity race this weekend here.
And that would be the driver of the 47 Cup car, Ryan Preece, who is going to be running the Xfinity Series. So we're going to be talking about him when Xfinity Series practice kicks off here on NASCAR.com in just a little bit. The Xfinity Series practice session is going to go from 105 to 155, and we're going to have that full coverage for you like we're doing now. And we do appreciate you joining us here. This has been a lot of fun so far doing this for a maiden voyage of covering practices like this here on NASCAR.com in the way that we're doing it, and certainly appreciate things that NASCAR.com has done, including, as we were talking about earlier, covering that test out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Pretty thrilling to sit and watch that as well.
I watched a lot of that at my desk, by the way. So.
Yeah, I turned the sound down so you wouldn't know, but...
There's Daniel Hemrick out on the racetrack. Debbie Green says, you forgot to talk about Quick Trip's app. Steve Gilkey says, okay, you've talked about Happy Meals and Quick Trip. I'm starving. Philip Squires also says, you guys are making me hungry. So here's Austin Dillon, a past winner of the Coca-Cola 600 and the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
That's a good lap there. He's been quick all day.
Yeah, he really has. And boy, you talk about an economy of laps as well. You look at the top 3. So far, Clint Boyer has done 6 laps. Eric Almirola has done 8. Austin Dillon is on his 7th lap right now. Kurt Busch has only done 7 laps. We've got 5 minutes left. And not Daniel Suarez here. I made the mistake. Martin Truex Jr. in the number 19 at Joe Gibbs Racing. 5th quick. He's only run 6 laps. So not a whole lot of laps run from a lot of drivers. Some drivers like Joey Logano, who's run 26, they spent as much time as they could out there.
Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin seem to be leading the way with the most laps turned so far, and they're up in the mid-20s right now as Austin Dillon now drops off the speed in the Dow-sponsored Chevrolet. Last year, the winner of the Daytona 500. And had a little bit of a resurgence in the last 25% of the season last year.
Yeah.
That car found something. The team found something, and he started running in the top 10 and showed some flashes of speed, I felt.
Yeah, both he and his then teammate Ryan Newman were kind of the same way. This could be interesting, Doug. Maybe this is a little foreshadowing of what we're going to see. I'm not going to assume or think that it could be, say, Joey Logano or Denny Hamlin in victory lane, but if they are, I have a feeling their crew chiefs are going to be saying, all we did was race practice all weekend long. That's why we spent so many laps in that first practice session. Whoa.
Ryan Blaney's car kicked up. I thought he was going to go up and kiss the wall there for a second. That car got a little bit sideways, and he came out of the throttle there and saved the machine.
Yeah, I think that's one of those that, okay, now I know where the edge is, and luckily I didn't go too far beyond it. But for
got
Ryan,
close to the edge.
Well, and you know what? If that was his qualifying lap, which I can only assume that it was, that probably ruined it. It looks like we're going to get a replay here of exactly what happened as he heads into turn number 3 and 4. And here we go here, right down at the bottom. And now we're back in the garage here. But, man, that had to be a pretty scary thing for him.
By the way, we have the benefit of being able to look at weather radar here inside our production truck. And all of the rain is well to the north of us. So it looks like we're going to be solid throughout the day. The forecast, excuse me, earlier this week were dreadful, but the weather here today so far at Atlanta Motor Speedway has been nothing but great. Here is Chase Elliott going back out late in practice. We'll see if he puts up a true qualifying run as we're drawing much, much closer to the conclusion of our first 90-minute practice here for the Cup cars. We'll take a 10-minute timeout and come back with the Xfinity machines working.
Interesting trend here. If you look at on your scoreboard here, if you look at positions 5, 6, 7, that is Joe Gibbs Racing, Martin Truex Jr., you see Eric Jones, then Kyle Busch, and not too far behind them, 10th quick, is Denny Hamlin. All 4 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas currently running in the top 10 right now. 2 Stewart-Haas cars at the top of the speed chart, and then you've got an RCR Chevrolet and a Ganassi Racing Chevrolet 3rd and 4th respectively, but right now Joe Gibbs Racing, while they're not at the top, all 4 in the top 10.
The other car that has not shown speed, but here again, only 2 laps on the racetrack, Kevin Harvick. We saw him come out briefly in the 4 machine, and Brady's only turned 2 laps, and he is 28 right now on the speed chart. That's kind of hard to believe.
You know what? Again, I think Rodney Childers, you look at what his strategy is as a crew chief. Kevin Harvick's car has 2 laps on 1 set of tires. They're going to go into practice tomorrow, a 7 or an 80-minute practice session. They're going to almost have 4 full sets of tires.
We're going to take a look back here at Ryan Blaney. So far, this has been an incident-free round of practice, but here's Ryan Blaney in that PPG machine.
Going into turns 1 and 2, got too far.
Apron.
Yeah, a little bit too far below that yellow line there, right. All right, and here now we're back live, by the way, with Ryan Blaney out there. But yeah, he went a little too far down below that yellow line, and the transition of banking. I mean, it's about 19 degrees difference between the apron and the racetrack. That's a big bump, and I know you felt that before, having driven around Charlotte Motor Speedway a lot. For me, Texas, the same thing. That's a big, big transition.
And the other factor, and these drivers will tell you this, you can see it really well out of this shot, are the seams in the racetrack.
Right.
The drivers don't like to set their tires on those seams because they're uneven, they give a little bit, so if you can run on where there's concrete that's not interrupted by the horizontal seams, you're a little bit better off.
By the way, Denny Hamlin just moved up to 5th quick, so now all 4 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas, 5, 6, 7, and 8, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, and Kyle Busch. Again, Stewart-Haas Racing are at the top. And practice, we're about to see the black and red flag, which signifies the conclusion of this practice session. The next time the Cup cars will see the track, 5 o'clock this afternoon for qualifying, which we'll be covering that with the Performance Racing Network. You're going to hear it here on NASCAR.com as well. So that's the next time the Cup cars will see the track. Coming up here in 10 minutes, the NASCAR Xfinity Series are going to come out for their first practice session.
All right, we're watching Denny Hamlin roll back into the garage area as we have concluded our first round of Cup practice here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Top 5 fastest cars: Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, and next in line will be Denny Hamlin as that wraps up our practice here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thanks a lot for tuning in to NASCAR.com. We appreciate all the tweets. We're going to take about a 10-minute timeout here, and we'll come back with Xfinity practice for you on NASCAR.com. Yeah, go ahead. Hello? I guess not.